Okay, Brian, I got you up. Thanks for going first, as usual, which you have been doing since week one. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Logos. The mark is fabulous. It's just fabulous. I feel you, man. I feel you. You're not there with the type yet, and I think that's got to be frustrating because I know you're rip roaring ready to go to get these things posted and get these graphics posted. So let me make some suggestions. I think think about this and think about what I'm saying, and then really think about this overnight or tomorrow, or just spend a minute on it. Okay, your logo, the mark itself, like I said, phenomenal. Why the beige background? Why the brown background, square background? I don't understand. To me, it's decimating the presentation because you're just adding another color. You're adding these shapes. It just doesn't make sense. Let's just get a look at the logo itself. Okay? Try not to add different meanings. Just show the logo. Okay? And one of the things I think is the biggest problem here, and why these don't look like they're working perhaps as well as they are, is the fact that this background color is not harmonious with the colors that you used. I shouldn't say it's not harmonious. It can be harmonious. The way it's presented right now, it's just not working. I'd like to see the logos on white background. Next thing I want you to think about is I'm going to back off here. Well, actually, I can't because it's not a PDF. Did you supply a PDF? Did not. So I can't back off here. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to zoom out here, and I wanted you to start to notice your type, specifically this type and this type, is very, very aggressive. And I think it's too aggressive for a innocuous summer sporting event bringing the world together. I think it should be more harmonious with the mark and harmonious with the statement of Olympics than this type of in your face, man, bold, front and center. Okay, this is not working. That's out. This is not working. That's out. I don't think this composition is working. And when you're working with type, try working with different compositions completely. For example, it looks like you fell in love with this type, logo in the center, two vertical rules. I'm sorry, two horizontal rules next to the Olympic rings, and then the year on the bottom. So you mix that up a little bit while you're experimenting, right? For example, to me, I think this is the closest. I'm not saying this is working because I don't think it is. It's the closest the closest one that is working because simply of the fact that the A has some attributes to it that are similar to the attributes in the mark. Okay, that relationship is good. The small letters, lowercase letters, don't have that same sort of kind of visual kind of cohesiveness between the mark and the type. So the lowercase letters aren't working. The uppercase A is working. The lowercase letters aren't working. I think the relationship, let me show you something. I'll show you Sochi. Here it is. Let's look at Sochi, okay? So I want you to look at the relationship that we have here between the type, the year, and the rings. Personally, I think these rings are a little too big. I'm going to say something like that, okay? But otherwise, the mechanics of this is gorgeous. And I'm wondering if we can't maybe try to get that same kind of, relationship where you have Anchorage. Actually, you're not going to be able to fit Anchorage 2022 on the same line because you're yeah, okay. I see what you're doing now because it's too long of a word. Okay. So boy, that's a tough one. That is a tough one, Brian. I'll give that to you. You got the descender from the G if you're going to use lowercase, and that's going to interfere with the placement of your mark, which is going to interfere with the placement of these vertical rules, which is going to pull the mark away. It's just, boy, that's a tough one. So what I would do is Anchorage 2022. I would just go ahead and compose Anchorage 2022 rings like that. I think it would be, and plus, if you take a look at these relationships here, let's use this for example. You got the beautiful mark, then you got this really aggressive Anchorage and this really aggressive 22, and there's little tiny rings back there hidden. You almost don't see them. Same thing here. This is so aggressive, and then this is not quite as much. And even here, just this relationship here, it tucks those rings in there, and the Olympic Committee would probably say, "Hey, wait a second, you got to show our rings." But anyway, all right. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I hope my comments are making sense, but looking forward to seeing where you're going, man. If you want to run a couple more typefaces by me, I'm fine with that. So, whatever. I know we're about to wrap it up. We got next week, and then next week is really where the rubber hits the road. It really is, and we'll look at that in depth on Sunday night when I give the welcome announcement for next week. But anyways, good job. Any questions, get with me. Thanks, man.